Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. A searcher who is trying to become a seeker had recently asked me, what are 3 tactile ways to check my ego? I'm observing that I'm egotistical. How do I check my ego? Keeping the context in mind that he is the searcher but wants to be a seeker, these are the 3 points that I shared. From most tactile to not less tactile, but more advanced. Number 1, gratitude guide. Every morning, every night, write down a reason that you are grateful. Why? Because the more you think about that, the more that has come into your life, not by your efforts, but rather your good fortune. Number 2, right people. Right people. We all know when we associate with the wrong people, we start to think like that. We start to speak like that. When we are around the right people, we engage in right actions with the right attitude and so on. Number 3, service lifestyle. Service lifestyle. When our lifestyle is service-oriented, we evolve and find fulfillment with our own evolution, with our own growth. And what is all of that? Becoming more humble, surrendering more. Gratitude guide, right people, service lifestyle. As I thought about this package, I've come to understand and appreciate all of this is built into Meaningful Mornings. We practice gratitude, we practice rightness, we practice service. As we approach 70 weeks together, if you rewind back to March 19th of 2020, have you become more humble? Have you surrendered more, surrendered the ego more to the divine? In verse 26, I had summarized that we should live in a way that is empathetic and exemplary. Empathetic is clear. Exemplary, to engage in yoga through karma. To engage in yoga means for us to find happiness in action. I'd given you a personal reference of parenting, or really any relationship. We tend to try to find happiness after this relationship is complete. But that is not being exemplary. Suppose I always complain to my kids. You don't listen, you tire me out, you make a mess. If they get married and become parents one day, how are they going to be? They're going to be the same way, no? That you can only be happy after this relationship is complete. Exemplary with relationships. Find happiness in those relationships. It doesn't matter what context. In verse 27, I had summarized, people are people. There's an awesome band called Depeche Mode. And they have a song called People Are People. I was rocking out to it yesterday. Sheila had to close her door. Because it's so descriptive of people are people. Those who are tamasic or lazy, they engage in inaction. In other words, they don't act. People are people. Some are like that. Like those not part of meaningful mornings, right? The Rajasic, they act, but their focus is not on the action, it's on the result. They're results oriented. Since we are all sattvic, what should we do? Accept and adapt. If we don't accept and adapt, we are Rajasic, we are Tamasic. Verses 28 to 30. We're going to start with 28, obviously. This sentiment of how to be with people is deepened. You will find that right away in verse 28. Why I'm highlighting this for you, these verses become the seeds for chapter 4 and 5. The system of Bhagavad Gita is surreal. It's almost like if any of you know an urban planner or are engaged in urban development, what they have to think about is surreal. Where population growth will be, where pipes have to be laid. Now that's just for infrastructure. This is a script for humanity. In these verses, there will be an emphasis on letting go of deservership. That's chapter 4's seed. Those who are lost in deservership, they're postponing their happiness. Only when the result comes, then I'll be happy. There's an emphasis on not getting lost in doership. That's the seed for chapter 5. Doership is for those who are unhappy. So there's more depth in these verses. Please be ready for it. We're continuing with verse 28. Tattva vittu mahabaho guna karma vibhagayoho guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate. The first quarter. And it always makes me happy when new seekers that I haven't seen for a long time join us in Meaningful Mornings. When I look at you, I don't look at myself. You may have it on speaker view. I do not. I have it on gallery view. Mahabaho. Shri Krishna is encouraging Prince Arjuna to not just be strong externally, to be strong internally. Those who are strong internally, tattva vittu, they know that which is deep. This knowing is a bhava, a feeling. It has become their own. The implication of this quarter. In chapter 2, I repeatedly shared that sat means existence. How do I prepare myself or train myself for sat? Sattva. Yes? Sattva means nobility. Everyone's in sync with that. Now the word has changed here Tat means Narayana. Those who have the feeling of Narayana. And I can go in many directions with this. I'll keep it as the creator. Keep it as the creator. How do I prepare and train myself to feel the creator? Tattva means nature. Nature. So nature or Narayana. The point that Sri Krishna is making, all the results, all the actions, whether you feel that's nature or you feel it's Narayana, it's not you. You are not the doer. You are not the deserver. See how this has become deeper than what we typically study with Karma Yoga? To let go of results, focus on actions. Here, Sri Krishna is deepening this. Who's acting? In the second quarter, Guna Karma Vibhaga Yoho. What is happening is the gunas are turning into the karmas. In other words, the subconscious, our subconscious is the mind, intellect, we just use the word mind, that as if transforms into karma, which is our actions, our body, which is conscious. Saying it again, the subconscious becomes the conscious. Do you all agree? My thoughts become my actions, yes. But who are you? Consciousness. You are neither the conscious, you are not the subconscious, you are not the unconscious. Unconscious here would be ego. You are consciousness. So Sri Krishna is sharing in the first quarter, those who have this feeling of nature or Narayana, in the second quarter, they don't get lost in what's going on at the subconscious or conscious level. This particular quarter very overtly becomes the seed for chapter 4, verse 13. Make sure you write this down. There, the words that are used are Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. It is that verse where there is an explanation about the varnas, which we casually in English translate as castes. In this verse in chapter 4, Sri Krishna is sharing your guna becomes your karma. Here he's using guna and karma. There he uses varna and karma. In other words, you are not your actions, you are your mind. Whenever we think of varna or caste, we tend to think it's one's vocation, one's profession. Look at me, I'm a teacher. Look at me, I'm an engineer. This is my varna. That's not true. Here it's saying it's not true. In chapter 4, it's saying it's not true. The focus shouldn't be on the karma, which is the action. Think more about where that action is coming from. The guna, which is your mind. Your varna, your personality is based on your mind. Third quarter, guna guneshu vartante. Guna here means the sense objects. Guneshu means the sense organs. Vartante, they stay in this closed loop. They stay in this system. Shared in English, more in English. The experiences are interacting with the equipments, period. There is no reasoning for the ego to be there. that sense of I am engaged with the equipments for the experiences. Why? This is simply a game of experiences and equipments, gunas and gunas. That is the difference between those who are forgetting and those who are remembering. The last quarter, iti matva na sajjate, the wise matva, they remember this, na sajjate, so they're never attached. They're never dependent. The focus of this verse, they are never shaken by results, by actions. And completing this verse with a very, I feel, sublime thought. All of the experiences that we have, the trees, the wind, the carpet, this kurta, all of it is inert. Do you agree? That tree is not thinking, am I a tree? Can I be part of meaningful mornings? My kurta is not either, whether I wear it or Shuka wears it. I've observed that Shuka is more of an artistic personality. So every once in a while, he'll come up to me and smile and say, Appa, I love your kurta. Even though it's not lovely. But my point here is, it's all inert. But right here, right now, we know that tree. You know this kurta. You can feel your own heart beating. How is it possible when all of this is inert? Because you are awareness. If everything's inert, but I know, I'm feeling, there has to be awareness. That awareness is you. Which is why this whole week in our Pittsburgh workshop and Meaningful Mornings, I've been encouraging everyone, appreciate your life. Because the more you appreciate this, the more deep you will go into life and tune into that awareness. Deeper, no? Then people are people. We'll continue with this train of thought. From inspiration to application, a recent application was for you to change a circumstance that is negative. Ensuring there's closure on this rad, take responsibility of negativity. If there's negativity, take responsibility of that. That if there's negativity, it's because of you. Then you will work on that. Your application yesterday was to accept and adapt those who are ignorant and to observe and enjoy those who are wise. I'm running out of time, so I will debrief on that tomorrow. Here is your application for today. I want you to come up with 3 practices to check the ego, but you can't use any of the ones that I shared with you. You have to come up with 3 practices to check the ego. You cannot use the ones that I shared. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.